I wouldn't wreck somebody for a win, but I would race them hard. And I don't go to the track to have friends, and I really don't like being friends with people because it just gets weird for me when we start racing. So I learned that when I was racing legend cars. I was racing legends. I was the best friend of everybody at the very start of my career, and I was wrecking all the time. And I was like fast, but I would wreck and all that. And I finally was just like, I'm just gonna go do my deal, and I started winning races. So I just kind of stuck with that.
I do agree with Ryan we know how Ryan races. He's not going to maliciously go out there and just wreck a 7-time champion, a guy who he's always looked up to, and he's been open about that.
I do disagree with something Jimmy said, and I don't quote me exactly, but in the conversation he had with Ryan, because there was a lot of audio from that, he said something to the effect of, the position we're in, meaning the outside of the playoff grid coming into Watkins Glen, now again tied with Ryan Newman. That shouldn't give Ryan any reason to race Jimmy less aggressively. That's an excuse to me for Jimmy Johnson to say, what position we're in. Yeah, I mean, if it's the last race before we're kicking off the playoffs and Ryan's solidly in and he's making a move like that, keeping Jimmy from making a playoff, maybe you can say that. But we still have 4 races left.
We think you're too nice to your teammates. I'm just going to lay it out there.
Too nice to my teammates. I got called too nice in general for a while, and then I spin Jimmy out, and people are like, well, why the hell did you spin Jimmy out? I'm like, well, he thought I was too nice, and so what do you want me to be?
Martinsville sticks out in my mind. I think, I don't want to say Joey cleared himself and cut himself in line in front of you, but clearly I don't think you were trying to give him the spot. So how do you play that? I mean, obviously you don't want to wreck your teammate because you don't want to make Roger Penske mad, but then how do you assert yourself as, look, I've got to get mine, you've got yours? Like
you said, I mean, RP's always given us a rule of, if we're running 1-2, there's no team orders as long as we finish 1-2, no matter what order, but you're not going to finish 39th and 40th, so that's kind of just what he's always told us. So, we have a green light to race each other really hard, and we do. Myself, Brad, and Joey, and Paul, we race each other really hard. But yeah, you have to know kind of the limitations.
From a talent level, you think you're good enough to win in Cup?
I mean, I wouldn't do it if I didn't think so, right? And I have raced against the guys who are having success now, winning races in the past, and when we went toe-to-toe in fairly equal equipment, I was able to beat those guys, and they beat me sometimes as well. So, like I said, I wouldn't do it if I didn't think I was capable of doing it, because I'd just be clogging the seat up for somebody else to think they could win, because, as much as I like to race cars for a living, on the flip side, I do want to be competitive in this sport.
I'm not sure exactly. I haven't talked to Newman, so I don't know exactly what he's thinking. I was right behind both of them when that happened, and I was like, that's not good. So
it's good for TV.
Yeah, it was good for TV, or it could be for Indy. But I don't know. I think Ryan is definitely one that stands his ground, obviously, and he can stand his ground in a race car really well. So it'll be interesting come Indy. I mean, Indy's going to be hard to pass.
I will say I think this is one of the best caliber of kind of the outside 4 drivers going into the round of 8.
I disagree.
In past years, I don't know that we had the same caliber in terms of how much each of those teams have stepped up going into the round of 8. Like, where was Kyle Larson? Where was Ryan Blaney all season long? And all of a sudden, we're seeing them kind of
running the top five every week.
See, I think
the fire has been lit under their butts.
I think because those 2 guys have made it in, it makes the path for the big 3, the big 4, the guys at the top of that list easier. I do. I mean, to your point, where's Larson been all year? You think he's going to just show up here? I mean, he's good at Dover, but pick a track where he's been as good as he is at Dover in this round of 8.
Overall, it's a really good day, and I can't thank everyone from Alert ID, Colliers International, my mom and dad, and everyone who supports me.
Well, I look like a deer in headlights. Not very good.
But then you have to wait for the thumbs up that we give, because it comes at the very end. Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I just killed that thing.
Really
that was good.
excited.